So moving into part 2, using the information to create a design. Once we have the information, this is where you come into into the forefront.
Correct.
Because you take this information and you can
Absolutely, yeah. So someone's given me, say, an AutoCAD plan. I can then import that AutoCAD into the lighting design program. I then have to overlay the rooms that are on that plan, so that's where the height becomes critical. So I overlay all the rooms. Each room will get a plan of calculation, so we can calculate, because every room inside a building can be different as well.
Right.
So an office might have a higher level than a lunchroom, for instance. So every room is different. So once I've overlaid all the rooms and given it a plan of calc, then I choose the luminaire, the best suitable luminaire in my mind for the purpose that they're doing.
Right. Okay. So as you can see on the presentation, we've got a create the room.
Yep.
So the first one is where you're actually inputting the height, the wall heights,
correct,
floor.
And in that particular instance, that's just a big shed, typical shed with a gable roof.
Yep.
Off memory, 6 meters high with a 1 meter gable.
Right.
60 by 20 storage shed used. When I say storage, they use a bit of picking and packing in that shed too.
So they need reasonable lighting.
Yeah. So again, it comes down to picking the right level.
Yep.
And in this case, this is a room. I've used the room estimator there just to give me a quick example of the amount of luminaires the estimator is telling me that I need to use for a flat roof.
Right. Okay.
So I put in 160 lux, as you can see there by the illuminance.
Yes.
And I got that level because the Australian standard for picking, packing, labelling, and warehousing is 160.
Yep.
So that basically told me I need 10 luminaires, but it did say that the spacing criteria was too far apart. You see it's highlighted in red down there.
Yes.
So basically I take that information, keep it in my head, and then I'll go back and I'll create the room, and then I will space the luminaires a little differently, and you'll end up with probably more luminaires than that particular one had, and we'll get the end result.
So once we've done that and we've got all that information and we've done the overlay, we now have to take that and we have to import the luminaire into the room. We can run our first run of calculations.
Yep.
And then we move on to actually getting our first. Would you say our first layer?
Our first layout, yeah. So what I do is, and you see there, the estimator told me I needed 10 fittings. I've actually put in 12 fittings at a different grid. I've also got the gable roof in place, so they're running to the roof line. And I've put my plane of calculation in, which is 1 metre by 1 metre grid according to Australian standards for interior buildings. And I've placed it out there, so I've gone, yep, I'm happy with that. Let's run the first calculation and see what happens.
Okay. So this is what we've got, and is this your calculation page,
That's
or is this still the grid that...
No, this is the calculation plane now. So I run the calculation based on how I put them in. It's telling me I've got 185 lux at 0.55. So to me, that's compliance to Australian standard, because your 0.5 is your required uniformity for basic rooms. And as you saw, it had to be 160 lux. So
yes.
It's now telling me that I've got the spacings correct, because in the estimator they were incorrect. Spacings are correct. I've got the right lux levels. I've got the right uniformity. That plane of calculation is on the ground, so it's at floor level. So it's going to get higher if something's mounted a little higher, then the level's going to be higher as it gets closer to the light.
Okay, so that's actually taken at floor level.
At floor level. Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
do you have to take natural light or external light sources into consideration when you're doing this?
Generally, I don't. Only because a shed, if they're wanting light, if they've got natural light during the day, then they might have sensors to run their lighting, but basically I'm always working out the lighting design to worst case scenario. So it's an overcast day, it's night time, it's things like that.
24-hour shifts or 3 shifts?
Yeah.